Hi, I'm Ryan North.
I'm Lori Fungi.
And I'm Sean Wilson. You're listening to Foster Family Matters, a production of CK Family Services. People united through God to enhance the physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being of at-risk children and families.
Welcome back to Foster Family Matters. Thank you so much for deciding to spend a little bit of your day with us. We are so excited that you have decided to join us. Before we get into any further, I want to welcome Ryan and Lori. Lori, how are you doing today?
You want the truth or you want me to stretch it? No, I'll be honest. I'm a little stressed today, Sean.
You know what? I think stress has almost become like the new normal, and we'll talk about that a little bit more today, I think. But Ryan, stressed? How are you? What's your temperature?
Well, I really thought Lori was going to say, do you want me to tell you the truth, or do you want me to tell you I'm fine? Is what I thought she was going to do.
The typical answer, right? The fine, the F word.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine.
The Christian F word. Is that right, Ryan?
Yes, that is what I've heard it called, the Christian F word. I've also heard that fine means feelings I'm not expressing. I don't know who said that, but I heard it somewhere once.
That's clever.
As to your question, Sean, I'm okay.
Oh, man, that's equally as obtuse.
You know, it's a pity we don't have Jason Garrett around you anymore, because you impersonate. I'm well. I'm doing well.
Well.
He used to say that all the time. I'm well.
I say that often. Doing well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very British of you.
It is a little bit British of me.
Oh.
No, I mean that is how in the rest of the world, where we speak the Queen's English, would be a typical response to how are you doing? I'm doing well, thank you very much.
It's proper. It's very proper.
It is. That's why it's called the Queen's English, because the Queen is quite proper. She's also 94 years old.
Now I just feel selfish. Sean, how are you?
There's just a whole lot that we could unpack from there. Maybe we'll step away from like the chicken or the egg with the queen originating what proper is and isn't. But I agree, it is what it is. But it is perception based, in my opinion. I am fantastic. For some reason I'm holding this little brush thing in my hand now.
Show off.
And I'm having a really great day. And I am doing very well today. Thank you so much for asking.
Are you doing well today because your keyboard's nice and clean? Because isn't that what that is, a keyboard cleaning brush?
Good job. Yes, it is. And I also use it to clean, like I have a desk mat that's on my desk. And because I basically now live at my workstation since COVID hit, I have like food crumbs and all sorts of nastiness. And so I use this.
Does it work for your mustache too up here? No?
No, I have a different brush for my mustache, I must confess.
He has a mustache brush.
You got to understand. So for Father's Day this year, my son bought me like a whole beard kit. I've had a mustache for a while. My son bought me this whole like facial hair kit that included like this brush that's about like this, and it's got like the bristles. You know what I'm saying? Like the real looking bristles. And I must confess, I really like. There was like beard shampoo and beard conditioner and beard oil and beard balm or whatever that is, and I mean there were all these things. It came with scissors. It came with like a wooden comb. This brush, like if it had only had the brush, it would have been worth whatever he paid for this kit. It's so therapeutic to just sit there and just like brush your beard. Lori, you should grow a beard. Just so you can experience it.
I was going to say, I wish I had a beard because that sounds very cathartic and I could use that today. Instead, I worked out this morning and hopefully that.
Sounds like you should be doing the commercials for this brand. Sure.
Working out is so 2000, Lori. Beard brushing. That's where it's at. That's 2020.
Is it like brushing a horse?
I'm sorry, Ryan, what'd you say?
Is it like brushing a horse?
Yeah, like it's that same kind of a thing. I'm giving myself equine therapy. I just realized I've become the subject. I've become the horse and the client. Wow, and the therapist. Quick, somebody go reserve selfequinetherapy.com.
So many things to say.
Well,
I'm with Lori. I literally do not know how to respond to I'm giving myself equine therapy.
Well, awesome. Lori, say it. Because we still have a good 30 minutes to this show to fill.
My therapist mind is reeling right now.
I think when I find myself in a situation
and
where
the
perhaps
friend
saying something
part
random,
of me is highly concerned for you. But I love that you found something. I do. I'm very excited for you.
And I think by highly, she means very extremely highly. Like, should we call people to go to the house to check on it?
Oh, good times, good times.
See if the local PD will do a well check.
So I think what I'm getting from you guys
how many viewers you can get on YouTube.
just brush.
Just sitting and brush. I bet you'd have 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month.
I'm not so certain.
Title it Solo Equine Therapy. Let's see what you get.
I'm legitimately not certain that I want that sort of attention, guys. I value my private time with my beard brush.
Now I'm highly concerned too.
So here's what I'm picking up. Here's what I'm picking up.
Before you move on, I just want to tell you this, and I will give you credit every time I say it. But whenever I find myself in a tense situation, whether that be an uncomfortable conversation or a meeting where people are stressed, I'm just going to choose my moment and say, I'm giving myself equine therapy. And everybody's going to laugh, and it's going to be a great tension breaker. And I'll say, Sean Wilson taught me that.
You're welcome.
But you have to be doing this.
That's it.
While you say
it. You have to stroke and some kind of.
And I have to have a brush. You just take it out,
dude. I'm telling you, it's the 2020s. You watch next year. Everybody's going to have these brushes. They're going to just like Velcro them to the side of their beard, like so that it's just there. So like when you need it, I'm telling you. You know what? Next episode, you're going to see a brush Velcroed to the side of my beard.
And then in 2022, we'll have like robot vacuums. Just have like robot brushes to just like brush your beard constantly.
Imagine that.
He goes, I can only imagine. So what are we talking about today, Sean?
Well, so what I'm actually kind of picking up, because Lori, you said you were kind of a little stressed out, and we kind of flirted with, well, maybe that's the new normal, and Ryan's feeling fine, which means he's not ready to talk about it yet. And I'm feeling fantastic, but really what I think has been disclosed is I've lost my flipping mind. And I think...
Testify. Testify.
I think somewhere in the middle of that is kind of the silver thread that's going to connect all of this together, and that is, man... Times are weird, huh? Like all of the stuff people are having to do right now in order to cope, in order to get through their day, in order to, survive with kids at home schooling, not homeschooling, but at home schooling and at home working and
or the
and
things we're not doing. Or the things we're not doing to cope through all those things.
The things
right?
we're not doing to cope, right? Like times be weird. Like that might be the title of this one. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. But I think today it would be fantastic if we can just kind of unpack a little bit, like some strategies and probably, there's so many resources out there right now for like how to get through your day and, take a deep breath and sit down and meditate and all this sort of thing. But like some of that's practical and some of it isn't. And we can maybe unpack some of that today. Maybe some things that have worked for us that we've employed, like beard brushes. I mean,
self-equine
therapy. I don't know. What do you think, guys? Does that sound like a direction we can head in with this?
Yeah. So, unplanned, but I like the way it started. Was we all gravitated to around your self-equine therapy and had a good laugh at your expense. Had a good laugh with you. And I think that's important. The Reader's Digest said that laughter was the best medicine. King Solomon said that laughter was the best medicine. And so that, I think the Reader's Digest is the confirming witness for Solomon's statements. And it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true that just having a good laugh at yourself or something else, watching a movie, watching a TV show, just yucking it up with some friends or whatever, is so therapeutic. The reasons for that are founded in science. Lori, could I throw to you and you could talk about chemical releases when somebody has a good yuck?
Have at it. You may just
No,
start
I said
now.
I'm throwing it to you.
Oh, this is it. This is the volley.
I'm pretty sure I just saw the ball go flying right past Lori. It was like,
whoa!
I think what just happened right now is Ryan wound up. He threw the ball, and as he released, he said, "Hey, Lori, heads up."
You know what? It's the proper asking for permission. It's the can I, the may I. Don't ask, just volley.
Man, I'm not going to give you permission.
Lori, tell. All right, let's try. Can I try that again?
A do-over?
Lori, please tell.
Would you like a redo?
Please tell the ladies and gentlemen about chemical releases in your brain when you laugh.
Also,
I'd like to.
There are chemical releases in your brain when you laugh. No, it is. It's true.
Also, I'd like. Hey, so just before you answer the question.
Okay, go on.
Sean Wilson's office is almost across from mine at the office. And so he and I will stick our heads in each other's office. We haven't had that opportunity in 5 months. And I can tell that he's trying to stay connected to me because he has unearthed every British saying and used several of them today during show prep and since we've started, which is ironic because I've literally spent about 96 hours in the United Kingdom in my whole life.
That is 96 hours more than I have. Yeah. That makes you my lifeline. You are my connection to the source. The Queen.
I'm the most British person you know.
You are. Quite literally. Lori, would you mind discussing chemical releases in the context of, what were we saying? What was it, Ryan?
Laughing.
Oh, she says it better than I do.
Laughing.
Have you spent 97 hours in the United Kingdom?
I have. 96.5. I don't want to stretch it.
What's your favorite thing to drink and eat when in England?
Tea and crumpets.
I thought you said popcorn and Pepsi.
Oh, I will give you my popcorn and Pepsi. There are chemical releases, period, that happen in your brain, period. No, you're right. I mean, there's a levity. There's so much.
Wow. We call that succinct.
I think people are kind of, like they already understand that there's something happening chemically.
Yeah.
Clearly, I don't know that they want the exact scientific neurotransmitters that are firing and being exchanged, but just knowing that levity brings a shift and a change in a neurological way. Your brain changes when you get to laugh, and I think these gentlemen will testify that I'm proof of that. We started about 2 hours ago to plan and prepare and just to catch up. And my stress level was probably at a 9, where now it's about at a 5. And it was all because we got a chance of community and some fellowship and a lot of levity. And with those 3 things, it really just shifted in a short amount of time.
Just so we're clear, the lower score is better, like golf? Like we're looking for 0 here on the
We do want a
scale?
0 stress level, yes.
Fantastic.
Because a 10 stress, that sounds high.
Normal?
It's a little intense. Usually, in this day and age,
typical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So laughter, obviously, right? I mean, I think, but I mean, I say obviously, but we bring it up for a reason, and that is that sometimes like the most obvious things can be the most overlooked things, and I think that holds true across a wide spectrum of circumstances. But another way to, I think, say what you just said, Lori, is there's chemical stuff happening, but laughing feels good, and I think we all know that, right? But sometimes we can forget that we need to laugh, and sometimes I think people kind of need permission to laugh. Like if I think of the movie, and I forget which one it is, but Batman will probably know, Batman. The one where the Joker goes, "Why so serious?" Right? And like that, I hear that in my head a lot when I'm like in circumstances that have just really got me either like so target focused on something that I can't like enjoy my children, and I can't enjoy my wife, and I can't enjoy my life, that I'm so focused on this aspect, and I just have to hear that, like, why so serious, right? Because for those of us who are Christians, and admittedly maybe not all of our audience are, but God's got it covered, right?
Amen, brother. Yes.
Come on.
And so,
tell them. Tell them.
So it's like, like why so serious? Yes, 2020 is a disaster. It is. It's a train wreck. You know what? If you want a good laugh, go try to find somebody who can convince you that 2020 is not a disaster. That would probably be a good laugh. but it's still like he's got the whole world in his hands, right? Like the song that we all used to sing in Sunday school. And so that, I think that lends itself well to remember to laugh.
Absolutely. Fine. And, there's a time and a space for it, clearly. We're not being inappropriate, clearly today. However, when those times and those spaces present themselves to you, take advantage of it. And sometimes I think, especially in the context that we're in now, we feel guilty of doing that because we see so much devastation around us and hardship around us that to laugh feels insensitive. And the truth is that we need the chemical exchange. We need to experience the levity and the laughter and the joy, because at the crux of it all, to laugh means that I'm feeling joyful in this moment. There's a big difference between that and happiness. I'm not always happy, but to feel joyful, and that is straight from the Lord. And so when I experience that, I know He's glorified and He's pleased, because that's why He created those moments and our ability to experience those moments in that way.
Well, and Lori, you said earlier you're not sure that anybody listening wants to get into the science of the chemical release that happens in your brain. I think that's a great example of something we've just always intuitively understood, but perhaps couldn't explain the science behind it. For example, for as long as we've had people speaking in public, this idea that you always want to tell a joke or a funny story to open with. The idea used to be, I remember when I was in elementary school and we were taking just doing like oral presentations. They would kind of tell us that. And they'd say, well, it puts you at ease and it puts the audience at ease. Well, it certainly does do those things. But the other thing it does is when there is that chemical exchange, because we're all laughing together, you kind of connect with people who make you laugh. Mm-hmm. And so we're establishing a connection right away, which automatically people will want to listen to you if you can make them laugh. And so that's why we still to this day tell people you need to connect with that audience on a chemical level, and you can do that pretty easily by telling a joke or by laughing. And for us adults, we can sit and laugh at each other and make fun of the way I say words, and that's fine. I don't harbor any grudges. We can do stuff like that, but with the kids in the parent-child exchange, it's why we are constantly telling people to engage their children playfully, to play with their children. And we do want to draw the distinction between being playful and playing a little bit there, and address the playful thing once. Lori, you know this because when we do pre-service training, I think I mention it every time when we talk about engaging the kids playfully, how I do goofy accents. And I know Sean may say, well, you have a goofy accent. Do you really have to fake one? And the answer is sometimes I'm Glaswegian, sometimes I'm from Australia, and I do an amazing South African accent, which people say, well, of course you do. You were born there, except that I really actually have to work at the South African accent because it sounds different to the way I sound 26 years later. But being playful with the kids and when you're laughing together is so therapeutic because it reminds them that they like you, and even more importantly, it reminds you that the kids are fun and you like being around them.
Well, and even in that moment when you're interacting with your kid and your number one goal is to shift behavior or to take undesirable behavior and turn it into compliance or a task being completed, whatever that is, science shows that 80% of behaviors can be changed by just a playful interaction. So if I'm parenting in a playful way, my chances of shifting that behavior increase exponentially by 80%. If that alone, try it and see what happens. There's that 20, but odds are it's going to work. And the proof is that usually it does. It's just enough to help shift that kiddo and the mood that child is in, and to come back to this really connected, playful place, because like Ryan was talking about, we have these mirror neurons. Laughter is contagious. And so if I can get my kiddo to laugh, that's going to shift something in my own neurology and my own physiology, where now I'm in this connected moment with my child rather this confrontational moment.
And Lori, I don't know if you remember the exact numbers. I confess up front, I don't. But the number of repetitions it takes for a child to learn a new skill is pretty high. But the number of repetitions it takes to learn a new skill while being taught in a playful context is considerably less. And if people doubt that, which I know people doubt stuff like that all the time, consider how your kids learned and remembered the rules of Uno a lot faster than they remembered any of their schoolwork. Because Uno is one of those games that can be both infuriating and make you laugh at the same time. And so I just think about my kids, who they learn games like card games, and they can just pick up on the rules and they just go forward and play. But we have to do long division every day, all day, for the last 114 years at the house.
114 years. That is oddly specific.
It just feels
that way. Wow. And it does, right? Like the perception of things can weigh us down so much. So laughter. And this is something that, and playful engagement, these are solid parenting strategies. These are things that, that we as a foster care agency teach our foster parents. These are things that hopefully your support network are reminding you of in your kind of daily engagement with folks. But playful engagement is such a powerful tool, and not only helping your children to regulate, but self-regulation. And we have a fantastic episode. Sorry, Ryan, if you haven't seen it yet, you can go back to some of the Wayback. Go back to the Wayback Machine on our website. We've got a couple of really good episodes that you might tap into if this is resounding with you, around self-regulation and co-regulation and all of these sorts of things. So go back and check out that episode if you want a deeper dive on that.
Well, and that's a good reference, Sean, because being able to self-regulate is important. We certainly hope that everybody who's parenting children has that ability. We know that that's not always true, but we do certainly hope that they have that. And I was just thinking, before we move on from playfulness, think about people who are playful with their words, like other adults. When you're kind of drawn to people who will engage you playfully. Like, I would rather hang out with somebody who can have a little bit of banter, a little bit of playful verbal engagement, than somebody who doesn't have that in them. And so if that works for us, because I've heard Lori say this, 150 times, and that's not even a joke, because she firmly believes it with all of her heart, and I believe it too. What's good for them is good for us, and what's good for us is good for them. And so if you're drawn to people who engage you playfully, then I promise you, your children will be drawn to you if you engage them playfully. So it's a double benefit, right? The one benefit is it helps you deal with that moment differently, because you're regulating and you're calming and you're enjoying yourself, but at the same time it helps foster that connection between you and your kids, because you're drawn to each other because you're just enjoying each other's company. So
and
that's
I want to
tip number one.
I want to lend some sensitivity and a little bit of seriousness to this playfulness and this laughter, that if you're in a space where this has been just incredibly difficult for you to do, and if you have to look back and think, when was the last time that I just had a really good chuckle or laughed so hard that I cried, or even had a smile on my face, and your answer to yourself is months ago, I think that's really telling, and that says where you are in this place. Because the first thing that we really need to do, and what Sean and both Ryan have done, is acknowledge that 2020 is hard, that we are all in this space together, and it is incredibly difficult. And when we bring truth to that, and we acknowledge and give attention to the fact that it's hard, and yet we're not able to find joy in the suffering, I think that's just it highlights something within ourselves. And I want to encourage you that it's okay to not be okay, and that this is a season, and your goal needs to be to get back to that laughter, get back to that smile, get back to that joyful place. And if that means talking to somebody, if that means assessing your own mental health, if that may mean that right now we have some seasonal anxiety or some seasonal depression because of what's happening, it is so normal right now, and it's so expected. And so I just want to put some love and some encouragement behind those that haven't found reasons to laugh and haven't found moments of joy in your life right now. And number one, knowing that we're all praying for you, and encouraging you in this path, and just want you to find sources that can pour into you so that you get to experience those moments again.
Lori, I love what you said there in that, especially when you said it's okay to not be okay. which is counter to something that people say a lot, and that's fake it till you make it.
Right.
But it is okay to not be okay, and it is okay. There's a song from about, I don't know, 15 years or so ago called "Bring on the Rain" by a country artist named Jody Messina. And one of the things I liked about the song is the chorus says, "Tomorrow's another day, and I'm not okay." And it's so contrary to what we talk about typically, because we want to say, "I'm fine, everything's good."
Yeah.
But it's okay to not be okay. There was a lot of talk in March, April, and May that everybody was hopeful that the second half of 2020 would be better than the first half. And I will tell you, at our house, since the calendar turned to July, things have been a lot worse than they were in the first 6 months. And we've had a lot more that we've had to deal with here at home. But because we all know that we have to take a breath, and we have to enjoy each other's company, and we have to apologize and make things right, and repair after that rupture and all of those things, that it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay, but it's going to be okay. Today was a hard day here at the house, and me and Sean talked about that a little bit before we started going on the air here, and it's just, I'm not going to pretend. That's why when Sean said, "Oh, how are you?" I'm like, "I'm okay," because I didn't want to say fine, because we just made fun of people who said fine just mere seconds before that.
So yes, there is a time and a place for seriousness, and you have to use your judgment, right? And it's also important to lean into that sometimes, not sometimes, when it's appropriate, regardless of the time, it's okay to not be okay. There's a whole school of thought around the idea that in your brokenness is when God steps in and can help you out. When you're self-reliant, and you're doing it on your own, where's the room for Him to bless you, right? And so, in many ways, I think that the struggles and the challenges of 2020 have really given folks an opportunity, for those that will, or for those that are so inclined to do so, to in a sense, throw in the towel and surrender, and realize I can't do it on my own. My hope, and I think our hope and prayer for folks who are at that point, is that you don't just throw in the towel and there's nothing there. There's no safety net. You have no relationship with God to fall back on. My hope and my prayer is that you do have that relationship to fall back on, because it's in those moments, at least in my life, when things have been the worst, when literally it feels like the world is coming to an end, that God is able to finally step in, because I finally make space for Him to step in. And if you're one of those folks that maybe you don't have a relationship with God, I'm just going to take this moment, and we're a faith-based organization. We're not an evangelizing organization necessarily, but I think I would regret till my last breath if I didn't say, if you're somebody who doesn't have that kind of a relationship, you can have it. I'll refrain from actually guiding you down that path on this particular podcast, but you can reach out to us in our Facebook group if you'd like to. And this, I think, fits well with what Lori and what Ryan were saying, because if you're not looking to make a connection with God in these moments, maybe you're looking to make a connection with some other human that's walking through the same sort of struggle that you are. And our Facebook group is a place where you can do that as well. So you can find our Facebook group at Foster Family Matters. That's the name of the group. So it's facebook.com/groups/Foster Family Matters. And, or you can just Google it or search for it in Facebook, and it'll come up. And join in the conversation. We've got quite a few folks that are already in there. Post your struggles, post your needs. There are other parents. Ryan and Lori and I occasionally jump in there and interact with folks as well. So let's go ahead and progress forward, though. I feel like we kind of gave people hope, and then we kind of went but it's okay to feel terrible. Let's see if we can. We'll come
back. We'll come back.
And then a high.
Some
let's
joy.
make the roller coaster go back up for a minute.
And we hadn't had a chance. Well, we hadn't had a chance to talk about this. So my idea might just be squashed completely, which is fine. But I'm wondering if for the next couple, this becomes a series that we spend some time just with different ideas and ways and tools that we all have utilized and we want other families and people to utilize in kind of getting us all through this COVID. And so today's about laughter and levity, and we're going to circle back around and hopefully end it on a laugh, and then moving forward give you some more tips each podcast. I don't know, gentlemen. I may not have sold you.
I love that idea. No. You sold me the moment that you opened your mouth to talk, because I think that's a great idea. Because I think trying to condense 10 strategies into making sure that you're able to manage and handle the stress in your home, because our children, we need to be a place where our children can embrace our calm and not our chaos.
Right.
And so it's super, super important that we learn how to do these things. And I think that that's a great idea, Lori, because somebody said to me yesterday, well, now that we're in the middle of this COVID thing, and I said, how do you know we're in the middle? Do you know the super secret end date? And we may be 2 months from the end of the pandemic. We may be 24 months from the end of the pandemic. I don't know the answer to any of that stuff. So I think that doing a whole series on sort of managing your stress and taking care of yourself so you can take care of your family and model how to deal with stress to your children is a fantastic idea. And you have my full support.
Thank you.
And my votes.
And you can count on me to hit the record button. I'm here for you. I will ride this train as long as there's gas in the tank, baby.
Well done, Sean Wilson, to end it on a laugh.
So I think legitimately, I think that's a fantastic idea. If you, the listener, think that it's a terrible idea, please log into our Facebook group and let us know.
Please email Lori.
We'd love to argue with you about your sense of reason and sensibility around that.
I'll send you a knock-knock joke if you email me. I'll send you like a good old dad joke.
Oh, she'll video herself.
Like, you know why I knock on my fridge before opening it? Oh, what'd you say, Ryan?
I said you'll actually video yourself telling a knock-knock joke and email it to him.
Well, I'm about to give you one right now. You know why I knock on my refrigerator before I open it? Because my salad might be dressing. Wilson ruined the punchline.
That is terrible.
Hey, did you know I used to work at a gym, but they fired me. I guess it didn't work out.
That's a stretch.
Hey, you know what we need to do? We need to have like Funny or Die. Funny or Die did the dad joke face off between Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, and then so they tell each other jokes. And if the other person laughs, they got a point.
It's so good. Yes.
Let's have an episode where you and I have a dad joke face off.
I'm in. I'm so in. That'll be a bonus episode for all of our viewers.
My younger brother and my 12-year-old daughter did that one night some months ago. Oh my gosh, we laughed so hard at them trying to make each other laugh with stupid dad jokes. It is the funniest evening I can remember in a long, long time.
I think it sounds
Sean,
fantastic.
we're going to schedule that with you.
Yeah, we're going to have to figure this out. 100%.
He'll hit record.
100%. I'll hit record. And I'll try to be a little more timely on the sound effects. So let's put a bow on this one.
Okay.
And apparently we're now on the hook for future episodes with additional strategies for how to mitigate your sense of self and your self state and the state of your children in context of 2020 and everything that we're dealing with. So I think that's fantastic. Let me, you know what? I usually do closing thoughts and then I talk about like and love and thumbs up and all that kind of stuff. Let me do that stuff first. And then I want your closing thoughts, and we're going to end on your closing thoughts this time instead of trying to ask them for something. So, We are trying to grow the show, and we appreciate you spending some time with us today. We put this out in a variety of ways. If you're listening to this as a podcast episode that you've gotten through Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or something like that, you can actually see us. You can not interact, but you can see the visual presentation in addition to this fantastic audio presentation. If you'll go to YouTube or Facebook, we upload the videos from this recording there, and so you can get that in its entirety. And if you're listening to it in some kind of a format where you can give us a thumbs up or like it or subscribe or those sorts of things, we invite you to do that so that you can receive notifications in the future as we publish these additional episodes that we're talking about. I did want to highlight, we mentioned a little earlier, we already do have about 20 episodes that are out in the public arena, just running wild. You can join the safari hunt to capture one of those and bring that into your life. I'm 100% positive that would be a value add. I think that's enough pimping. Oh, sorry, FosterFamilyMatters.com. That's the website. So if you happen to cross this somewhere else and you'd like more information, you can visit us at FosterFamilyMatters.com. That URL will actually link you to the company that we all work for, which is CK Family Matters. Sorry, CK Family Matters. Wow. CK Family Services. And we are a nonprofit foster care, adoption, and behavioral health organization serving a big chunk of Texas. So you can learn more about the work that we do in our community to support children and youth and families. I think that's enough. I mentioned the word pimp and then I kind of stopped short. I think that's enough kind of trying to sell who we are. Let's go around the horn real quick with a couple of final thoughts, and then we'll release them to go hunt down our other episodes. Who wants to go first?
Ryan.
Okay, Ryan, you're it.
Okay, yeah, I think you have to nominate somebody. Closing thoughts. I know there's a lot of reasons to be stressed right now, and I don't know what your situation is when you're listening to us, but if you can just find a way to bring a little bit of laughter into your day for just a few minutes. It's really simple, and I promise you that all the things we're going to talk about during the series will be really simple. I mean, we might do a whole series on why it's necessary to breathe. But please don't dismiss it just because it sounds simple. Please give it a try, and I promise you that laughter is still the best medicine.
And at any point you are needing just a good chuckle, a laugh, maybe you're by yourself, maybe you're just around not very funny people, and you need to experience that levity. Just think back to when Sean Wilson used the word pimping as a marketing tool and as an advertising tool. And if that doesn't do the trick, friends, you know what? I don't know what will. So we love you. We're praying for you. We hope that you got a laugh or two today, and we're excited to see you soon.
If anybody laughs half as much as I just did, they're going to be just fine.
I don't feel like there's anything else I can add. Guys, thanks so much for listening.
Well, no, I can add one more thing. And also, if what Lori said doesn't get you laughing, please remember that when she laughed, she just sounded just like a dolphin.
Oh, my Lanta.
I also love you all very much.
We'll be praying that you join us again next time.
We'd understand if you don't. Bye.
Oh, Lord, help us all. I'm hitting the stop button.